G'day folks, Rod Moore from Moore Art School. Welcome to this week's painting project. This is going to be a beginner's how-to painting in acrylics. We're going to show you step by step what to do to create a nice little landscape scene. And I was driving through the hills in Maleny, which is just in the Sunshine Coast Hinterland nearby, and saw all these rolling hills and beautiful views. I thought that might make a nice little painting for us to have a go. So let's have a go at that. I'm just going to start off with three colours as we usually do in these beginner paintings. We've got ultramarine blue, we've got alizarin crimson, yellow ochre and titanium white. So just three colours is all you need when you're starting out. Helps you to create colour harmony and also to learn how to mix your colours better. So we've basically got blue, a red and a yellow, and we'll add a couple of punch colours just to brighten things up towards the end. I'm going to use three brushes as I typically do. We've got our 1-inch hog hair brush here. This is a gesso brush. You can get these for a couple of dollars at most art stores. And we're going to use a little flat brush. Got a couple of different sizes here. We'll do that for a little bit of the detail work. And a little rigger brush just for fine tuning things at the very end. So we're just going to keep it really simple. And that's the whole methodology behind the Moore method of painting, is let's keep it as simple as we can. So we're going to start out with our little brush. I'll just dip it in some water. Because it's acrylic, we don't really thin it out like you might if you were using oil paint. But we just add a little bit of water just at the early stage. So I'm going to show you the Moore method of painting, which is, I've been teaching the Moore method of painting to hundreds of students in our workshops and classes and thousands of people online now. And it really is one of the easiest ways for beginners to learn how to paint. When you're just starting out, you want to simplify things right down. So the very first step in the Moore method of painting is to just do a basic drawing and get in your big shapes, which is what we're going to do now. So we're going to make this a nice little country sort of scene, and I think we'll have some rolling hills like so. As I was driving around Maleny, there were some quite magnificent sort of hills in the distance. So we'll just create some, we might make that one come down a bit there. So all I'm doing in this first step here really is just placing in some big shapes. Now we're doing a few more sort of mountain ranges and things than what I'd normally do, just because I might make an interesting painting. So I'm just getting in the basic marks. You don't have to be a great drawer to make this method work for you. Okay, and then to make it interesting, we might do some distant trees here and along that ridge line there. Perhaps some in there. I think what we'll do is we'll bring up a nice sort of larger tree just to give us a bit of framing in the picture, something a bit of interest in the foreground there, and we'll have that casting a shadow down there. We'll hit it with a bit of highlight and so on there. But that's pretty much all I'm going to do for this basic drawing. It's just getting a bit of a map, a bit of an outline of where we're going to go with this painting. You don't want to draw in every leaf and every branch at this stage, okay? So we'll get some along there. We'll hit some nice sunshine right through there. And I think what we need to do is have some darks in through here. So put all that in dark and in through here as well. Okay? Keep it simple. As you can see, this is a very simple little drawing that you can easily do. I've just made up this little world from my memory of a trip that I took the other day through that area. So we don't want to overcomplicate things. Okay. So that's step one done. Step two, what we're going to do is get some colour down. It's the blocking stage. And I want to create a nice sunny day, and I might put a few clouds into the sky over here to show you how to do clouds. But for the blocking, always use my 1-inch gesso brush and start off with some blue and a big helping of titanium white there. Okay. It's important to start off with the right tone here, because the sky is the source of all the light. If you go too dark in the sky, then you're just creating problems for yourself later on. So I think that's around about right. I'm going to go a little bit bluer than what I might normally go, a little bit darker. Get that on. Now, as we come down towards the horizon, I need to lighten it off. So I'll mix it to the edge there, not directly in that puddle. Okay, you can see it's a lot lighter there. We'll just work some of that up in. Now, I'm losing my tree, but that's okay. I only put it there really to show you. I know exactly where I'm going to place that tree, and I can find that mark again quite easy as we get into this painting. Okay. Now, I'm using these acrylics in the same way I might use oils. Okay. If you find your acrylics drying too quickly, then it's probably because you're not using enough paint. So you need big liberal helpings of paint when you're attempting to use acrylics in an oil-like fashion. Okay. So blend all that in. And don't blend it to death. Keep some brush marks in there. Keeps it looking a bit interesting. Already I've got some cloud type formations happening in there. But what I will do, my yellow ochre's going for a bit of a walk there, but I'll take a little bit of that yellow ochre, a little bit of the red, and a big chunk of the white. Mix that in, a bit more white. Okay. And I'll just add some of that into the horizon, lower part of the sky there. Just a little hint here and there. A lot of it will be covered up by the large tree anyway. Okay, now I'm just going to come back into this blue here and just work some of it in. I just feel like we might need just a touch bluer up in these corners. Like so. Okay, so that's our sky in. Now we'll come back and put some clouds in. What I want to do now is go to these hill ranges, right? So they're not really mountains in distance, they're more like rolling hills. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and a bit of a foreground area. So all we need to do is progressively go darker as we come forward with each of those layers. So we are going to go with the first one, the blue and the red. Keep it on the blue side. Okay, get a bit more white in there to lighten it. A bit more blue. Okay, and let me just we'll put a few little trees and things on them, although that is a fair way off in the distance there. Okay, just work some white into it. It's a little bit dark, but keep the white in the valley part rather than up high. Okay, that's looking good. Happy with that. Often when you put in layers like this, you can't really tell whether that's working until you get in the subsequent layers. So what we'll do is this layer here now, I'm going to go a bit redder, not too red, that's probably way too red, go a bit bluer. I've gone a bit too dark now, so I'll try and get some of that white. Okay, now this should be dark enough, there we go, that it's going to pull this layer forward of the one we've just done, which you can see quite clearly there that it is doing that job for us quite nicely. So that's how we start getting depth and aerial perspective into our little landscape painting. And once you understand these principles, there's no end to how many of these type of paintings you can do. You know, create really nice depth and interest in them. Okay. So, create some interesting shapes. Don't just have it all one boring sort of shape. And now we come to this one. I'm going to get in some yellow into that mix now. So if you've seen my other videos where I talk about aerial perspective, you'll know that the closer forward we come, the more we've got all three colours in there. Okay, so let's just check that. That's a little bit on the grey side. Not happy with that. It's going sort of browny grey. So I'm just going to see if I can alter that up with the blue. Yeah, that's a bit better. Not entirely thrilled with that as a colour, but that could work. I'm just blocking in at this stage, getting the underpaint in there. Might come back and revisit that one when we've got everything else in. But you can certainly see how there's, you know, 3 layers. We've got 4 really. We've got the sky, then this distant range, and then coming forward they're getting darker and darker. So in the foreground here is going to be our warmest and also our darkest shape. Is going to be right through there. So what I'm going to do is take, because I added a bit more blue into that one just before, now we're going to go and add in our warmer colours. Okay. So this is going to be it's probably a little bit too red, just a little bit more blue in there. This is going to be theoretically our darkest dark in here. Okay, it's also going to be a bit warmer, so it should come forward of that one there, which it pretty well is. So I'm happy with that. Come down into the valley here. A little bit light there. That's okay because it's down low. We don't want to get too much light in there at this stage because it's this is our darkest dark area in here, remember? Okay, well, I think we've pretty much finished the blocking stage, and as you can see, that was a pretty simple exercise. It was just knowing, you know, to create an aerial perspective, just where to put your lights and darks. So we start out lighter in the background. We also start out cooler in the background. As we come forward, a little bit more red in there, so it's warming it up. We're getting darker and warmer here, and then our darkest dark and our warmest colour in the foreground. That creates a sense of aerial perspective. When I put that big tree in there, it's going to push everything back, and we'll put a few other little clumps of trees and things in there as well. And you'll see how it's all going to work. So far we've done step 1 where we did our basic drawing. Then we did step 2, which is our block in here. And now we're about to move to step 3 of the Moore method, which is all about highlights, details, finishing touches, things like that. That step is going to be the one that takes us the most amount of time in order to get this looking just right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry off, and then we'll come back and we'll do step 3 once this is all dried off. Okay, welcome back. Well, this is pretty well dried off now. Not completely, it's still a little bit sticky, but it's dried off enough for us to be able to work into it now. So what I want to do is establish this big tree here with some nice foliage up in the sky, and we'll put some other trees in around here, and then we'll add some highlights of the grasses and so on. So I've cleaned out this brush, and what I want to do is get to a dark. Okay, this is going to be our darkest dark in the whole painting. So no titanium white in this one. And I might just push it towards the green sort of dark. Okay. It's pretty chocolatey there at the moment. Something like that. And with this brush, I'll just push up the hairs just to get the paint into the hairs like so. And just looking at this, I want my foliage to sort of be in here, but leaning slightly into the picture rather than out of the picture, just to keep my eye, or the viewer's eye, you know, engaged in it. And I'll just work the brush. Don't block it in completely. We want to keep some interesting shapes and things in there, but we want the sky to come through in parts. Okay. And down the bottom here, I'll just bush it out a bit there, like so. Just thicken it up a little bit in parts, but not completely. You can see there's plenty of sky coming through there, but it's a nice dark against that light of the sky there. The other thing I'll do is I'll just run some shadow. Just make sure we've got a bit of a shadow colour happening down the hill, running down the sort of shape of the hill. Like so. Now that's not going to be immediately apparent, not until we put in the highlight of the grass. So that's quite a good little shape. I'm happy about that. What we need now is a bit more blue and white up there. Like so. And you can see that we've got a few gaps on the canvas. I've deliberately left those because I'm going to put little bushes and things. So let's come in here and create a little bit of white. So we want this to be a bluey grey. Okay. So it's going to be darker than the background mountain, but we don't want it as dark as here, as our main tree. So I'll just blue that back a bit, make it a bit cooler. Okay. It's probably the same tone there as that hill that we've got in there, but that's okay. Come back on this ridge line here. Go a little bit bluer and lighter again. And look, this is a really easy little painting that you can try at home. So you should give it a go. Let me know how you go with it. That one's a bit too light. So pull some of that light out of the brush and just re-establish that part of the hill. We'll just work that up in there. Okay. And that lighter one we just did is probably needs to be back on this ridge line out the back here. There's much smaller little trees out there, so keep them small. Maybe a couple up on the hill up there. Okay, now I think that's working reasonably well. Let me just want to get something established there, which you won't be able to see just yet, but you will in a moment. Okay, so what I've done there is I've just really just blocked in some darks for where I want some trees to be. Some of it won't be apparent until we put the lights on. So what I'm going to do now is start putting some lights into this. And I'm going to put in two extra colours, a cadmium yellow and a cerulean blue, just to lift up the light throughout. I'm just going to use these sparingly, but these are what I'd call my punch colours. So that's our cadmium yellow. This is our cerulean blue. That's going to make a pretty bright green, that one. So I don't know that I want to use that everywhere. Let's just start off with, we'll go to ultramarine blue and some cad yellow and see what happens. Okay. So this is going to be our lightest grass tone. We probably don't need that cerulean blue, I'm suspecting. A nice big violet there. Now, carefully placing it. So it's the grass in the sunlight here is what we're painting here. So we're just got to be careful where we put it. Don't have too much paint on the brush. Pull some of that out. And just flick up some there, here and there. Now I'm just going to darken it up a little bit. You don't want that bright everywhere. Bit of a hard edge there, I'll just work that out. Okay. Bit too bright down the bottom here. So what I'll do is just take some of that darker colour there. I'll just work that back. Got a little bit of green on the brush already, but mixing with some of those other colours, it'll just darken it right off there. There we go. I'm happy with that. Now, on this one over here, we're going to use the same colours, but we're just going to grey it back a bit by adding a bit of red into that mix. So we've got a bit of a green happening there, so which is blue and yellow. You add in a third of the primaries and it'll grey it back a bit. And we want to lighten it a bit as well. Okay, so that should give us a different tone. There we go. Which is just perfect for out the back. And just let that roll down the hill. And leave some of the dark in the hill there. Like so. We will come and highlight these trees here. So don't worry about those too much just yet. Now as we get out here, we need to be much bluer than that. So we'll go bluer and we'll go lighter. Okay. See, let's just change that green up again, bluer, and a lot lighter. My brush is accumulating way too much paint. Wipe it out with some paper towel or just wipe it there. Okay, so bluer. Oop, just picked up a little bit too much of that yellow there. Let's just test that and see if that's light enough. Pretty much is. Like so. And it's, you know, not even worth us doing anything out the back there, I don't believe. At this point I'll just use some of that colour just in here, just to create a little bit of harmony between the distance and the foreground here. Okay. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to add in some highlights on this tree, predominantly on this side because the sun's sort of coming from here. So we will use blue, yellow ochre, hint of red, and a bit of that brighter yellow there. Okay, gives us a nice foliagey colour. Just push the brush up through it like so, and then let's pick out the shapes here on this tree. Now, important when you're doing these highlights like I'm doing right now is that you don't lose all those nice darks. Temptation of beginners, and I've done this myriad times myself, is we tend to get carried away. You probably heard me say that if you've watched my videos before, but we all tend to do it still. Okay. Like so, and now I'm going to go for an even warmer version of that. Okay, brighter, lighten it. Okay. Don't want too much paint on the brush with this. This is now really picking up that lovely golden sunlight. Very good. Make sure it's nice and bright just there. Now I haven't put any tree trunks in for that just yet, but we'll come back to that in a moment. I need to work on my darks. I've lost the shape of my darks in here, so we'll come back and have a look at that in just a moment. For now, we've got a few other trees and things that we need to just hit with some highlight. So I'll just put a bit of white into that, and just in through here, there's a bit of a tree that we've got in there. That one, a little bit on that one there, a little bit in here. They're just sort of like sitting just over the horizon line a little bit there. Okay, and then we've got these distant ones which they need to be bluer and they need to be lighter. Okay, probably get away with a tone like that, I suspect. Although that brush is probably not going to be the right one to do it with. I might just go with this small brush here, okay? Just because we've got little trees here now. That's a bit better. things there. Just getting those shapes in those trees there. And right up in the distance here. Like so. Very good, I think that's starting to work. A couple of little things, always little things towards the end. Really just want to punch it up a little bit. Let's just see what will happen if I hit that cerulean blue in there. Off, just soften underneath those edges there. I'm just sort of spraying it up just to get some nice looking grassy effects in there. Now I think what we need is a little bit of highlight coming in that back there as well. Gone a bit dark there. Let's just spread that little bit of sunlight through there. Might even a little bit of sunlight just sneaking through there and there, just here and there at this stage. Okay. And we're just going to need to re-establish this shadow here a little. Mix up the shadow colour and put some shadow in there. So you can always work shadows and things back in if you lose too much shadow. And let's just get some of that shadow just spread in. So, that's good. That's working. Nice little sort of meadow, rolling hills sort of scene that's emerging there now. Okay. And almost as a finale, I guess, although there's a lot of things we could do to continue working with this, but what I'm going to do now is take white, red, bit of yellow, mix that. Okay, it's too dark, we'll go more white. Now I'm not going to really paint tree trunks as such. What I am going to do is paint in a highlight of the tree trunks. Okay, just something really simple is all I'm going for here. So this is where the sun's coming from, and what I'm painting in here is just where that sun is clipping on that side there of the trees. Of the branches and so on. Good, good. Probably we would have similar sort of effect happening in here. She'll get that shadow there nice and established, and pop that in there. So last little thing here, put in some fence posts. Like so. Just adding a little bit of shadow so that they're not so stark white, those fence posts. So just a little bit of blue there. And finally, I know I've said that a few times, but I just want to get a couple little things happening just with some sort of greeny yellowy tones here. I'm just going to really pick up a few different colours there. Make sure I don't have too much paint on the brush. I want to create some grasses here in the corner. And I could probably pop a few of them there. So they're just catching the light a little bit. Up around the base of that tree. Like so. Now they're all darks, oh sorry, they're all lights, so I'll just add in a little bit of dark into the bottom of them as well. Alright, well there we go. Nice little country scene, very easy to paint. Just a few marks for our drawing, and then just refining and fine tuning things a little bit, creating some interest. Darks against lights is what it's all about. Making sure you go from light to darker to darker to darker to darker as you work through the painting. Really simple paint to have a go at, so make sure you have a go at it at home. Check out also up here, if you press the I up here, you'll have access to our free video course, and also register for our paintings and so on. Make sure you like this video underneath and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see all of our new painting videos as they become available. And till next time, happy painting. Cheers for now.